right now on 5 on your side at 10.
The Arctic Express is headed our way again. The pattern change coming next week, putting the brakes on these bitter blasts.
He spent 28 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. Now Lamar Johnson is suing the city of St. Louis over his wrongful conviction. Our top story, a St. Louis teen feared dead after a devastating house fire. Tonight, a mother leans on her faith.
I'm cool that this was his plan. I'm just concerned I don't like this avenue. Why so devastating?
Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. Tonight, 18-year-old Chandler Hill is still missing 2 days after a fire destroyed his family's home in North St. Louis. Tomorrow, firefighters will return to the apartment building to search the frozen rubble. New tonight, our Robert Townsend talked with the young man's devastated mother.
He was such a joyful little person, always smiling.
Michelle Hill affectionately called her 18-year-old son, Chandler Hill, the Chan Man.
The Chan Man is a special individual. He's on the autism spectrum. So he's full of my life surroundings.
Everywhere she went, her Chan Man went too.
My parties, I have a book club. Yeah, everybody knows the Chan Man.
Monday morning, Chandler was at home with his grandmother on Athlone Avenue in North St. Louis.
I was heading back home for the day.
A neighbor suddenly called Michelle and told her their two-story brick home was engulfed with flames and thick smoke. Firefighters rescued Hill's 78-year-old mother.
And so they literally had to drag her out because she was going through, and they said there was no way she would be able to get through that fire.
But firefighters couldn't find Chandler.
And the whole thing, I'm thinking, where is the Chan Man?
Hill says after the raging fire started, her mom sent Chandler to their living room. He hasn't been seen since.
There was no way he could get out.
Fire investigators say the now destroyed home is still completely frozen, making it nearly impossible to search for her missing son.
They did send the dogs in, but like they said, it's too frozen. They couldn't get a scent anyway.
On Thursday, crews will be back out here searching for Chandler's body. Meantime, Michelle Hill admits she's still struggling with losing her son in such a tragic way.
I don't like this avenue. Why so devastating for such an innocent individual and soul?
Now her co-workers are rallying behind her.
She lost absolutely everything, including her beautiful boy, Chandler.
This is step by step for me.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
And Hill's co-workers at the University of Missouri St. Louis Institute of Mental Health set up a GoFundMe page to assist her. You can find a link at ksdk.com. Just hours ago, we learned the body of a missing woman in Washington County has been found. The Mineral Area Major Case Squad says it searched a Potosi farm on Shirley School Road today and found the remains of 44-year-old Donna I. This is not far from where she was last seen in the early morning hours of January 9th. An autopsy will be performed on Friday. Well, we enjoyed a bit of a winter warm-up today. Temperatures hit 40 degrees. However, the bitter cold and snow is returning tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell has new information on the timing in his Weather First forecast.
You know, and I don't think we have a lot to worry about tomorrow morning, even though we're below freezing again, and whatever melted on the roads earlier today has tended to freeze again if it's not treated. So watch out, there are a few slick spots, but the snow that we expect overnight and early tomorrow morning, just a few flurries, and mainly north of St. Louis. Now tomorrow night into very early Friday, there may be some light accumulation, but how about that beautiful sky? John shared this picture on our 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers Facebook page. Sunset tonight from in the Metro East. 116 consecutive hours at or below 32 degrees in St. Louis. We finally climbed above freezing today just before lunchtime. Of course, that didn't last for long, but we'll take any hour we can get above freezing that we can get at this point. We managed to get into the lower 40s. Clouds are thickening. There are snow flurries across northern Missouri. Not sure we're going to get a whole lot out of that initial wave here, but it's a nice brief break from that bitter cold. And tomorrow, temperatures are still well into the 30s, but then tomorrow night, the Arctic air is coming back. Some light snow tomorrow night, especially north of St. Louis. We'll talk amounts and then talk wind chills as we head into the weekend. Arctic air is back Friday, Mike.
And remember, you can get the Weather First forecast anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send it to your phone. Developing tonight, cleanup crews are back at the St. Louis County Justice Center after another pipe burst. This time, water reached the transformer, causing the emergency lights to go on. The building still has heat, but limited lighting and no Wi-Fi. Generators have been brought in as plumbers and electricians make repairs. Just like Sunday's pipe bursts, we're told operations are not affected and inmates do not need to be relocated. The frigid weather has kept Missouri American water crews busy this week. They've responded to dozens of water main breaks. The utility says fluctuating temperatures and melting snow could lead to more breaks. Tonight, the man who spent nearly 3 decades behind bars for a crime he didn't commit is now suing the city of St. Louis and its police department. Lamar Johnson is seeking unspecified damages nearly a year since his exoneration. Our Brent Solomon joins us now with a closer look at the lawsuit. Brent?
Well, Mike, this is about accountability. That from Johnson's attorneys who filed suit today, saying it was St. Louis police who, quote, detained, arrested, and framed him for a murder he did not commit.
You've had nearly 3 decades of your life stolen by the system. You should be compensated.
M.L. Smith with the Missouri Justice Coalition has followed Lamar Johnson's case for years.
And I spoke to him occasionally while he was incarcerated to keep his hopes up. And we always talked about how he would be coming home and that, this situation wasn't forever.
Johnson convicted in a 1994 murder that he says he had nothing to do with. Later, a witness said he was bullied and pressured by police to name Johnson as one of the shooters. Last February, Johnson was exonerated and released from prison.
When you, of course, work for many years, you maybe build up a savings, retirement, etc. Well, when you come home after almost 30 years, you haven't had a job. You don't. What does your resume look like, right? Having to rebuild his life after nearly 3 decades.
In a statement, Johnson said, quote, "I am grateful to be free, and I'm doing my best to make up for the time that was stolen from me and my family, especially my daughters. I want to put this dark and painful chapter behind me, but there can be no healing without answers and accountability."
Those who are in positions of authority, including the police and the prosecutor, need to make sure that they have the right person, not get tunnel vision and just want a conviction no matter who it is, which often happens.
Johnson says he intends to make sure what happened to him doesn't happen to anyone else. The city is not commenting on the lawsuit.
About an hour ago, a community forum wrapped up in Clayton to discuss the school district's controversial land purchase. The district is buying the headquarters for Caleres, formerly known as the Brown Shoe Company. Many want the land to be redeveloped.
Everyone in this room lives in Clayton for the school district. The city is what it is because of our schools.
If Brown Shoe Company cannot sell this for their asking price, maybe they need to lower the asking price.
4 former Clayton mayors say the deal would cost the city more than $1 million in property taxes per year. Tonight, students at Lincoln University in Jefferson City say they're frustrated after meeting with school leaders today. They met with leaders at the historical Black university demanding accountability after a popular administrator died by suicide. Students are calling for the removal of university president Dr. John B. Mosley over allegations he harassed and bullied Bonnie Candia Bailey before her death.
More than likely, ourselves as a student, as one, will still be protesting. We'll still be fighting for justice for Dr. Bonnie to save our university and get it back to where it should be.
Mosley was placed on paid administrative leave on Friday. The Board of Curators said it would hire a third-party expert to investigate the allegations. New tonight, the private company wanting to fly drone surveillance over St. Louis neighborhoods is moving forward with its plan. 5 on your side, Flora Barczewski explains the company is now looking for drone pilots to get the job done.
Mike, that company, SMS Novel Films, called the surveillance program launch a work retreat and is asking for drone pilots to come to St. Louis in February to start capturing footage of our streets. And residents tonight are still very concerned.
Residents say this all started when they found out SMS Novel Films was going to be surveilling the Gravois Park neighborhood later this month with intentions of combating crime, but the story keeps changing.
I feel like the thing that stayed consistent with the story is that this person has not engaged us one time. When approached and asked about his plans, he has rebuffed people. He has doubled down on what he wants to do despite getting pushback.
Now the company says it's not going to tell anyone where their drone pilots are filming, calling on licensed pilots to come to St. Louis for a 5-day work retreat to kick off the surveillance program, SMS Livestream. Resident Sarah Phillips says this is an invasion of privacy.
I'm not a victim of domestic violence, for example, but I can imagine that if I were, I would be really, really worried that somebody could just decide to do this and there's no regulation, there's no oversight over that person who then wants to go and make that data available, apparently to anybody who can pay for it.
Alderwoman Alicia Saunier says a major concern for her is who will have access to the data and video SMS plans to capture.
Even thinking about, you're a person who lives alone, someone's ability to record you coming and going to your house and having data and no idea where that's going. Our children possibly being recorded at their schools, just different things right now that we want to make sure that we have some clear regulations and protections in place.
Saunier says the board is moving forward with Bill 199 to tighten up St. Louis drone laws.
I'm trying to propose some standards and ordinances, again, not to even necessarily prohibit you, but to make sure there's some regulation and that people in their community can feel comfortable with what's happening.
The board bill is currently in front of the Public Safety Committee, and public hearings on the measure are not scheduled yet. But Saunier says they're right around the corner. SMS Novel Films CEO Jomo Johnson declined our interview request again today, saying they will not be doing any interviews until they launch that program.